Hey guys, Quackers Collects here with another set of NFL predictions. This time it's week 2. The last time I recorded this, it had 0 sound, so I am fixing this right now. Anyway, I'm currently in band recording this, so if you hear drums, that's why. Anyways, week 2 kicks off with the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to be picking the Chiefs for this one. Mainly because it's at home. We blew out the Cardinals last week. The Chargers did beat the Raiders, but I think both Chiefs will go 2-0, and the Chargers will go 1-1 here. It's just strength of schedule, I guess. So I'm picking the Chiefs for this matchup. On Sunday, we get the New England Patriots taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at their newly named Acrisure Stadium. It's no longer Heinz Field because the naming rights expired. The contract expired for the naming rights, so they had to rename it to Acrisure Stadium. Anyway, I'm going to be picking the Steelers. The Patriots don't really look that good this year, even though Bill Belichick is still a top coach in the league. I still think that yes, I'm currently in band recording this, so if you hear drums, that's why. Anyway, I'm picking the Steelers because they were really good last week against the Bengals, and the Patriots didn't look really good against the Dolphins last week. They just got blown out of the water. So I'm picking the Steelers to beat the Patriots. Next matchup, we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the New York Giants. I'm going to be picking the Giants. No, the Panthers. I'm picking the Panthers. So, no, nothing. I'm recording something, but. Anyway, I'm picking the Panthers to beat the Giants. Sorry about that interruption. The Panthers will be 1-1, and the Giants will be 0-2. No, 1-1 as well. The Giants did look pretty decent against the Titans last week, but I think the Panthers will end up winning. They did try and come back against Cleveland last week. The Giants just overcame the deficit against the Tennessee Titans, and I think it's going to be a good game, but we'll have to see. Brian Daboll is a really good play caller, but I'm picking the Panthers to beat the Giants. Both teams will be 1-1 after this week. The New York Jets, who just got pummeled by the Baltimore Ravens last week, take on the Cleveland Browns, who just won against the Panthers with Cade York and a game-winning field goal. But I am going to be picking the Browns to beat the Jets. It's at home, and I will not hesitate to see that the field design is terrible. I will not hesitate to say that. But I am going to be picking the Browns. The Jets are an easy opponent for the Browns, and I think them getting pummeled by the Ravens last week prove that nothing is going to change. Plus, their starting quarterback is Joe Flacco, so you can't beat that. Anyways, I'm going to say the Browns beat the Jets, and they will be 2-0, and the Jets will be 0-2. The Indianapolis Colts, who tied against the Houston Texans last week and gave the Texans their very first tie in their existence, take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who didn't really struggle against the Washington Commanders. They kept it very close, but Washington ended up scoring near the end of the game, and that's what happened. So I'm picking the Colts to beat the Jaguars again. I know I'm not being smart because they haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. But, this isn't the game where Jacksonville fans are going to be wearing clown costumes. So, yeah. This is only week 2, by the way. So if the Colts lose, they'll be 0-1-1. But if they win, they'll be 1-0-1. And the Jaguars will end up being 0-2 if they lose. So, anyways, I'm picking the Colts. The Miami Dolphins, who pummeled the Patriots last week, take on the Baltimore Ravens, who also pummeled their opponent, the New York Jets. I think the Ravens will win. I think they'll keep it close. I think it's going to be a close game. The Dolphins showed a lot of... They were really good against New England. Tua was slinging the ball downfield like it was yesterday. And the Ravens, they actually looked pretty good too. I know Rashad Bateman actually changed his number from 12 to 7. I think that was his number when he was a Golden Gopher. So I'm gonna be picking the Ravens to beat the Dolphins, but it's gonna be very close. I would say by about 3. It's gonna be a close game, but the Ravens will come out victorious, and the Ravens will end up being 2-0. Dolphins ended up being 1-1. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing the New Orleans Saints, and every single time I have picked the Buccaneers to beat the Saints have won. Which is interesting. So, anyway. I'm going to be picking the Bucs again, mainly because I think they have a chance to not get swept by the Saints this year, but it's possible. So if my prediction holds to be correct, the Buccaneers will be 2-0, and the Saints will end up being 1-1 because they just beat the Atlanta Falcons last week. And they choked the lead, so the Falcons choked the lead, is what I mean. So I'm picking the Bucs. The Washington Commanders take on the Detroit Lions, and I'm going to be picking the Commanders. The Lions actually did show some grit, even though that's pretty much what they have done. It's usually normal for them to start 0-1 and, keep losing for a little bit. But, the Commanders actually are a pretty decent unit. And, they ended up beating the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. So I am going to be picking the Commanders to beat the Detroit Lions. The Commanders will be 2-0, and the Lions will be 0-2. The Seattle Seahawks take on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to be picking the Niners for this one, despite them losing to the Chicago Bears and a tsunami last week. The Seahawks actually did beat the Denver Broncos by 1 point. But I think the Niners have pretty good chance of beating the Seahawks. Trey Lance might be a caliber starter if that's what it comes down to. I'm going to let this person go by, and then I'll continue. or you just enjoy some drums. Anyway, I'm picking the Niners. They'll be 1-1. The Seahawks will also be 1-1. So I'm picking the Niners. The Atlanta Falcons take on the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm going to be picking the Rams to beat the Falcons. The Falcons choked the lead against the Saints last week and are currently 0-1. But the Rams also lost and are also 0-1 and lost to the Buffalo Bills on the opening day. So I'm going to be picking the Rams to beat the Falcons here. So both teams will be 1-1. No. Falcons will be 0-2. Rams will be 1-1. Jesus. The Arizona Cardinals take on the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm going to be picking the Raiders for this matchup. They did almost win against the Chargers, but came up short. And the Cardinals, they just got completely smoked by the Chiefs. Not having Tyreek Hill kind of helps, doesn't it? We can score 44 points in a game without Tyreek Hill, and it showed. But we'll have to see tonight. But I am picking the Raiders to beat the Cardinals. The Raiders will be 1-1 and the Cardinals will be 0-2, which is surprising because Cliff Kingsbury usually has a mid-season collapse. The Houston Texans take on the Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos will win. Texans don't really look that good. And they got their first tie since, ever. They got their first tie ever against the Indianapolis Colts last week. So the Broncos will beat the Texans, according to my prediction. So the Broncos will be 1-1. And the Texans will end up being 0-1-1. So I'm picking the Broncos. The Cincinnati Bengals take on the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to be picking the Cowboys. The Bengals Bengals just collapsed last week against Pittsburgh, especially in overtime. But I think the Cowboys could win. Cooper Rush has done it. Cooper Rush has won NFL games before. Dak has been out a couple of times. Last year he did it against the Vikings. And I did pick the Cowboys to beat the Vikings. So last time I recall. And they did end up beating the Vikings, which is nice. But so I think the Cowboys will end up being 1-1, even though the Cowboys did lose to Tampa Bay in prime time. But the Bengals will be 0-2. And the Cowboys will be 1-1 after this week. Speaking of prime time,
It's so nice in here. I just want to sit in here. It's so nice.
let people go by. You okay?
Oh yeah, I pulled a tendon in my foot, so I'm struggling today. It's okay.
You don't have to march if you don't want to.
Oh, I know. I'm not Joe Kruger. I can't do it.
Yeah. Okay, so the Chicago Bears take on the Green Bay Packers. And I'm picking the Packers because last time I recall, Aaron Rodgers said that he owned the Chicago Bears, which is surprising to me because their majority owner is 99. But yeah, I'm going to be picking the Packers to beat the Bears. Packers will be 1-1. The Bears will also be 1-1 because they beat the 49ers last week. So, yeah. 2 more games and then we're done. Are we just doing sectionals today?
No, we're going outside.
I thought we were starting at 5:15.
Yeah, we should go outside. We're
Oh.
in Falcon Walk and pregame, and reps.
Oh.
Is that a-
Oh. No? Okay.
Oh, anyway,
But I will get these videos done as soon as. Oh. So the Tennessee Titans play the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be picking the Bills. The Bills actually look really good. I think they could also win the AFC East because the Patriots just don't look that good. So, and the Titans, they just collapsed against the Giants last week. So, I'm going to be picking the Bills for this matchup. The Bills will be 2-0. Titans will be 0-2. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to be picking the Eagles to beat the Vikings. The Vikings did beat up the Packers last week. But that doesn't matter. I think the Eagles have a better team than the Vikings. They added A.J. Brown. They have Devontae Smith. They have Jalen Hurts. They have a bunch of weapons. And I think the Vikings will be really good this year. The Vikings will put up a fight, but I think the Eagles will come up as victorious. So I'm going to be picking the Philadelphia Eagles. So those are my predictions for week 2 of the NFL season. We'll see you guys next week when we do week 3.